You've always known you have something amazing to offer to yourself, to the world. There's something deep in you that is truly special and valuable, but over time, over defeat, over different things in life not working out in one way or another, you found that, man, you can't get that momentum, you can't start moving in the direction, and you find an escape. For me, that was definitely alcohol was my main escape. Gluttony in general, crappy food consumption, sitting in front of the TV and video games, wasting valuable hours of my life that I could be doing something so much more meaningful with. But just through a series of loss and defeats over the years, it just seemed like it was all a lost cause. So, might as well numb it away. At the end of this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how you can start changing your life forever with the 10-minute a day dedication for 30 days. But first, we need to talk about what the foundation is behind all of this. I've been there. I'm about 60 days away from 2 years without alcohol, and just a little bit longer since I stepped into the gym, decided to change my life forever. I was a lot heavier with a lot less muscle at that time. No self-belief. Really, I've done some amazing things with this life, and you'll see if you come along on this channel. Crazy stunt riding, traveling, wild adventures, things that how could you not be just full of self-confidence and proud of? But I had a low self-image, and so over the years, just stacking these defeats, it seemed like, what was the point? Let's grab the bottle, let's light up another joint, let's just play these video games, stuff my face full of pizza, burritos, and beer, and just numb it away. So the foundation behind everything is that we see the people with the physique, we see the people with the money, we see these things that's like, why does he have that? I should have that. I could be there. I could do that. And we think that having that, the thing, the physique, the money, the car, the woman, whatever that thing is you think would make you just feel like you can walk into a room and you're 10 feet tall and everybody knows and cares about you, the following. But it isn't that thing that is what builds us up. It is the work that gets you there and the habits that develop the individual who is able to create the following, to develop the income, to get the physique. Look, I've been working hard to earn this, and yeah, I'm not pumped up. Lighting's not great, but that's something. Look, I'm walking around with my shirt off, talking to random strangers all over the world, strangers, and that came not from the outcome, but from all of the hard work, all of the discomfort, all of the habits that I never went back on. And it still took me almost 2 years to quit drinking. That was a struggle, but since then I've taken on even harder, more uncomfortable challenges, and the version of myself on the other side of those, it just keeps compounding and stacking more confidence. I know that I'm going to succeed, that I will have the millions of dollars and millions of followers, and we're in the middle of a moment that's dramatically changing in time, and I'm not well positioned. I've been investing like crazy. I've been working like crazy. I've started a business that makes good money. I did this while living out of an SUV 1,300 miles from home, camping out on the side of a beach, and quitting drinking, among other things. So habits are the foundation for everything. Habits and the work. Saying that we're going to do something and we do it. And why does that give you so much confidence? Well, it's keeping a promise to ourselves. You say you're going to get up early, you get up early. You say you're going to go to the gym, you go to the gym. You say you're going to eat right, you eat right. You say you're not going to drink, you don't drink. And, it doesn't change everything in a week or two. But after 2 or 3 or 4 years, really for me, it was about 3 years when this all started really clicking in. And I just started feeling like I was on top of the world and unbreakable, unshakable. And it's because I dedicated myself to a certain set of standards that I would not budge on. And once I got to that year without alcohol, that's what I had committed to. Initially 6 months, and in 90 days I upped it to a year. And then when I got to a year, I was at that point. I could drink again if I wanted to. I fulfilled my commitment to myself. I kept the promise to myself. I could feel pretty good about that, but I realized that that version of myself that I developed over that time was a version I wanted to hang on to. It was the discomfort, it was the hard work, it was getting away from rescue, from easy escapes, from finding temporary gratification, instant gratification, to try to escape discomfort and challenge. So I've heard that it takes 3 weeks to develop a habit and 90 days to turn that into a lifestyle. And so the great thing is, you know, we watch these TikToks and motivational videos, and you think you're supposed to just go from 0 to 100 without any evolution. And the reality is, it's not sustainable to do it that way. But you stair step into it, add a habit, do something better, don't go back on it, prove to yourself you can do it. It becomes simple after a while. Then you step it up, then you do another thing that's hard, uncomfortable, challenging at first, turns into a habit, turns into a lifestyle, stack another thing on top of it. And after a few years, you keep moving in the same direction, and you will be unrecognizable to yourself, to the people around you. It's really an amazing feeling. So what I'm going to provide you is a very simple and effective way to feel better, to look better, and to train yourself on a habit. And just by integrating a habit into your life, something you could easily turn into a lifestyle, something that I brought into my life on day one, is this is so simple. And everybody looks past it. They think, well, they got to get shredded, they got to get huge, they got to get everything. Bro, you got to get your posture in shape first. And I'm going to tell you exactly how to analyze and how to fix it with 5 to 10 minutes a day of work. So I'm going to give you the resource that I found that was way more qualified than me to lead you on that way. So this basically, there's 6 different things, if I remember correctly, it's been a while, that you test within your body. You figure out where your imbalances are. And then there's exercises to help you strengthen or loosen or stretch and get everything worked out. Now, I integrated this into my workouts right at the beginning, and it's still a part of them now. And man, you should have seen that skinny fat pear-shaped version of me with the little toothpick arms and legs sticking out of this flabby pear-shaped soft body. So yeah, my posture was terrible, and by just committing to a habit, saying no matter what, for the 5 to 15 minutes a day, probably 10 minutes a day, you have to dedicate yourself to this. You will not miss for 30 days. You will not miss a day of this program. You'll analyze it, you'll do what you need to do, and at the end of those 30 days, you will have developed a habit that you can now integrate into your lifestyle. You can figure out how to get this into your workouts, how to get it into your morning routine, however it may be. And it's extremely healthy to have proper posture, and you're going to look better and you're going to feel better. You will be noticeably different without having to put on a bunch of muscle or drop a whole bunch of weight. And then it's time to add the next habit while you're working on turning this habit into part of your lifestyle. So then the next habit, maybe it is get into the gym. I can tell you that for me, walking into that gym was what gave me the strength to quit drinking. I first had to just start moving in a direction, and I started to develop a habit, and I started to find some love for myself by truly wrecking myself at first. I had to beat myself into submission. I had to punish myself. I was in there 3 to 4 hours a day, 7 days a week. I didn't take any days off. I had tendonitis in both of my elbows, both of my knees. I don't recommend that. It wasn't probably good or healthy, but it was what I needed mentally. And that has been, that I think possibly the hardest part of all this was I did a heavily restrictive diet that ended a few months ago. And I was basically living off of about 1,500 calories a day of boiled chicken and yogurt. And I was doing fasting for 16 to 19 hours. And I took it too far once again. I killed my white blood cell count. I messed up my gut bacteria. I went catabolic. My body was actually eating the muscle, trying to figure out how to get nutrition. I took it too far. But guess what? I've since rectified that. I now have a very balanced and regimented meal plan with proper amounts of healthy fats, mostly avocado, some eggs, healthy carbs, vegetables, rice, and still more than enough protein, about 220 grams of protein, about 175 of carbs, and 50 grams of fats. So my white blood cell count has come back. The gut bacteria thing has worked itself out. I don't have these burning pains all over my body. But again, I don't recommend this. I'm not a trainer. I'm not a doctor. What I did was unhealthy. It was extreme. It was too far. But for 97 days, I saw that through. I made that commitment to myself to do something very hard, very uncomfortable, and not to back down, not to give in, not to take cheat days, not to do anything that I hadn't signed up for. And man, when you get to the end of something like that, you commit to it and you see it through and you keep those promises to yourself, and you're like, bro, I'm a hard ass MF. Like, dude, people can't do that. You see all these big guys in the gym, they're little crybabies about eating right, and doing cardio. Now I do cardio in the morning 7 days a week, and on the days that I don't do strength training, I do cardio in the evenings too. And that seemed like such a ridiculously uncomfortable thing at one point, and it's just part of my day, man. I enjoy it. It's nicer in some environments than others. Right now, I'm actually you'll see more of this. I'm literally got a super awesome camper parked in the back of my client's shop. One of my it's actually a group of 4 businesses. The world's largest custom motorcycle manufacturer is one of them. Maybe I'll put a link or a card here. You can check them out if you want to and see all my content over there. They also do aircraft parts coating, custom paint. We manufacture things that go bang that I don't know if I'm even allowed to talk about on this channel. And we do off-road power sports. I have complete autonomy. I'm just given free rein to do what I see is in the company's interest, that has the best chance of creating profit or solves challenges and problems that need to be handled. And I make my own schedule. I spent several months working off my laptop while I was camped on a beach in California, 1,300 miles from home. And I've got a lot more cool adventures ahead. I'm trying to figure out the direction. I was working on a trip to Thailand. We're at this really interesting moment in time where it makes a lot of sense. Then instead of saving up for that, I'm investing in assets now. I'm buying different crypto, mostly Bitcoin, but I've still got a good amount of positions in a lot of other top altcoins and a couple riskier ones. This is crypto week, and all of the regulations haven't passed yet. Bitcoin right now is at 119,000. I bought as low as 78 within the last 6 months or so. And I don't have a huge stack of it, but I just understand that if I make the right moves right now, I will be setting myself up 20 years down the road to where no matter what. Now this channel is going to work. I got 36 followers right now. I have about 8,000 on my other channel that I don't make content for anymore, but I learned the lessons I needed to through the discomfort, and it was painful to start over. These videos get 2, 3, 5 views, less sometimes, but I'm building the foundation. I'm going to make a true, meaningful difference in people's lives. There are other people who are going through challenges that I've gotten through, and man, I had a couple resources that I found at the beginning of this, but they're worth tens of millions, hundreds of millions. They've got decades of training under their belt, and it's nice to hear from somebody who's a few years into this, who is where you could be within a reasonable amount of time. And when you get to the point that I'm at, you'll be able to see where I got in that time, and you can aspire to that, and we can all work together. We can help build each other up. You can start to bring other people up, teach them these lessons that, hopefully some of them you learn from me, some of them you'll find for yourself in other different places. But the world now, America, our community, the West, we are in need of strong, capable, masculine men. Masculinity is not toxic. These are people who are willing to be uncomfortable, to make sacrifices, to have a goal, to pursue a direction, and put the outcome above instant gratification, above objects, above things that don't serve a purpose, that don't help the world, who don't move us forward. And people who are willing to work hard, to get strong, to be able to defend themselves, their family, the people around them, defend themselves from tyranny. It's just an amazing thing that it took me until my 40s to recognize how vilified just being a man who likes to play rough, who likes to get his hands dirty, who likes to do the things that nature has taught my instincts that I want to do, that I want to build, that I want to protect, that I want to hunt, I don't want to sit around with my college degree, follow directions, have somebody else give me limitations on how much money I'm worth, have someone else literally value my life. Say, this is how much of your time I'm going to take. This is how much that you're going to get for it. This is the value of your life. You are a slave, and here is the cost of your slavery. That is not the life I was meant to live. And, I didn't know anything better. I come from a family with multiple generations of educators. They have their best interest at heart, and they're boomers. This path that worked for them has been dead for 20 years. It's been dead since I graduated college. So I've been on the wrong path for 20 years. But, what am I going to do? Am I going to tuck my tail, shrug my shoulders, and just decide to go ahead and drink and numb it away and play video games for the rest of my life and be fat and pointless and have served no purpose? The pursuit of impact, the pursuit of meaning, the pursuit of my own freedom, my sovereignty, these things, they feel so good. No matter how much discomfort and sacrifice is involved, they feel good to be pursuing things. And so, if I'm awake, I'm working out. I'm either working on my content, I'm working on my marketing company, working for my clients, or I'm working out in one form or another. I haven't had TV for years. I could not bring myself to watch a TV. I've spent about a third of my life living in a ski town in Colorado, on a beach in California, and up in the Pacific Northwest. And I'm right now, you can see, I'm in Wichita, Kansas. I've got an awful lot of gratitude for so many things, but this isn't necessarily, the place that keeps me just fulfilled and happy just from being here. And a couple years ago, and then a couple months ago, I tried to plug in the video games in the middle of the cold winter just for something, because I don't go to bars, I don't eat out, I don't do anything social. I am only working or working out. And I just tried. I was like, maybe this will give me just a little bit of a reprieve from whatever monotony, the cold, whatever. And I just couldn't bring myself to do it. Something was telling me, it was telling my soul, that video games are taking away from my purpose. Which, what a crazy realization to come to. So, I was buckled down and kept creating content. And the awesome thing is, I've got an amazing story for you guys. I've got all the footage, beautiful drone footage, off-roading, camping on the beach, camping on mountaintops, going all over California. I've got amazing footage, the story from Colorado, living out there for 7 years, downhill mountain biking, snowboarding. There's purpose, there's messages with all these. I have more content than I could get through in a year if I could just make the time to just focus on the content. So there's a lot of cool things coming, but we're going to keep talking because this stuff means something, and these videos aren't going to go viral. This is going to get 3 views, Someday maybe it'll get a few hundred, but what if that impacts a life? What if that impacts a few lives? What if in 5 years or 10 years, videos like this add up between all of them? Doesn't take me that much time to make these, and I do it over and over consistently, just like going to the gym, just like all these other habits I've developed, and it makes a difference in multiple lives, and it feels good. This feels a lot better doing this, pursuing purpose, pursuing impact, pursuing following and financial freedom, pursuing these things. It feels so much better than wasting my life away sitting in front of a screen, filling my face with pizza, burritos, beer, and hard liquor, because, beer was pointless by the end of that thing, man. I was drinking over a liter of vodka a day, some days way more than that, just with a bunch of weed and wax on top of it, and that's not the life anymore. So, guys, thanks for coming on this journey with me.